maybe he didn't have full context or something.
I think he missed what the you talked about.
See, I can't believe that with it being Michael Eric Dyson, because this is somebody that studies hip hop.
But
writes whole books about.
He had to have heard all of these songs, and had the chance to break them all down.
But I don't. With that being said, with this being Michael Eric Dyson, I don't feel like this would be his take if he did.
So Dr. Michael Eric Dyson has some very, very heated comments as it relates to people criticizing Drake's blackness. Now, this was on the Stephen A. Smith show. You know, Stephen A. probably pops out 3 times a week or something on his YouTube show. So, you know, he had Dr. Dyson in there. I actually met this guy before. He's a very sharp, very intelligent, very nice person. Very nice. But somebody has pissed him off because I think I don't know if this is directly at Kendrick, but he does reference Kendrick and others questioning Drake's blackness. So let's watch the clip and we can discuss.
All right.
I'm pissed that Drake gets dismissed when he's been Drake for 15 years. Now he's not really black. Oh, he was black when he's recorded more songs with Jay-Z than most of these rappers. Last time I checked, Jay-Z is real. He ain't fake. Challenging his racial identity, saying he's a culture vulture when he's when he's a black man. He's from Canada. He ain't real. Idris Elba is from the UK. People still love him on The Wire. So why is it that being outside of our geography, outside of our nationality, raises suspicions about Drake? Now, you can debate the war between Kendrick and Drake in terms of, you know, the quintuple entendres that Kendrick Lamar unleashes. Kendrick Lamar is a brilliant rapper and a formidable foe, but so is Drake. And what he's done to expand the horizon of hip hop is underestimated. Why are you looking at a positive as a negative?
So, a couple things stood out to me here. One is the Jay-Z bar means nothing to me.
Absolutely none. He's done songs with Justin Timberlake.
Right. 2.
Next.
He says he gives him P's for, if I heard him correctly, expanding hip hop. Did he say something to the effect that he's expanded the horizon of hip hop? I don't know if I agree with that either, because you're a pop star in real life. But what are y'all thoughts?
Can I just really quick, and then I'll get out the way. We talked about this a little bit about how Kendrick wasn't necessarily saying that Drake isn't black. He was saying that you're not a part of the culture in the way that you think that, you know, you are.
Bingo.
In that way. So.
Bingo. But the floor is open, man. What are y'all thoughts? What you think, Jay?
Well, this is what happened.
Does he have any points?
Well, you know, he's light-skinned and he saw the light-skinned dude losing, and you know, that's
come on, Jay. Come on, J Dog. Don't do that.
And you would think, though, with being Michael Eric Dyson, as much as he loves Tupac, that he would have nothing to say wrong about Kendrick. You would think.
You think he'd have been on Drake's head for trying to for using AI?
You would think.
But, you know, no, and all jokes aside, I mean, we're going to get these jokes off. It is what it is. I'm sorry, man, but you're wrong here.
Yeah, man.
Like the reason we went after, and not we, but the way Kendrick went after him is because, like Lone said, you are not a part of the culture in the manner in which you think you are. You know, you've taken a lot of liberties and stepped over some, you know, because we don't talk about J. Cole like this.
Nah.
Good point.
You know, he's same thing, white mom, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the crew of the white moms from here.
It sounds like that is a band.
Yeah,
crew of the white moms.
That's the Real Jones.
Yeah, shout out to Kristen. You know, everybody involved with that group. Yeah, man, you're making it about his nationality and his skin tone. We're making it about his experience and
his cultural,
some of the goofy things that he does.
Yeah.
You know, when he steps out of his lane, like, you know, one of the things that, when I see him in that game video, and that's an artistic thing, him and Game
the
Rock
100
together.
video.
But I'm like, you got on, you know, the red Toronto jersey in what's clearly gang territory, and it's like, it's uncomfortable. You know, and then like, you know, how, look, if you being you is how you got to where you are.
Right.
You know, you trying to stand, you know, the whole staying next to 21 Savage and maybe, and once again, that seems like a genuine industry relationship.
Yeah. For sure.
But, you know, sometimes like you miss the mark on certain things culturally come by the things that you say. And a lot of times the things that you don't say, you know, the fact
he
that
ain't said shit.
Yeah. And that's part of it. It's like, you know, you've been popular during some of the most turbulent times. Yeah. But, you know, between the George Floyd and Mike Brown, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think you've ever had anything to say, and that's your right to not have to say anything.
Yeah.
True.
But
we actually gave him peas for that.
You know,
but at the same time, you have a responsibility.
I don't even think he has a responsibility because especially if he doesn't know what he's talking about, keep your mouth shut.
Not a responsibility as far as saying something about current events and things of that nature, but you have a responsibility to rep this culture in the way that it's supposed to be represented, and you call yourself black. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be black to say the word, because at the end of the day,
it seems like there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, it seems like that's what it's about, is you just want to be black so that you can say that, but anything else, it doesn't matter.
Good point.
Because it seems like you actually built up to even being able to say it right, because there's a video circulating around where you saying it with the hard R, looking goofy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for Michael Eric Dyson, an intelligent philosopher and writer, author, whatever.
Educator.
For him to say, to get that take from what Kendrick is saying it's almost like you didn't listen to what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's literally telling you why he's saying, I feel this way about this guy, and this is why I don't want to hear you say this word. That's all it's about. It has nothing to do with him being mixed, him being Canadian,
him having a nice upbringing and being on it. That's not, you know, I think, because a lot of times there are situations where black people, we do this to each other. Like, I can speak personally on that just because, you know, I grew up in the suburbs, you know, father had a good job, you know, several bathrooms in the house, you know what it is. Yeah. And there are people that called into question my blackness just because I had a certain dress. It doesn't have anything to do with what I, you know, thought about things culturally, how, you know, we still a black household. I remember I had a couple of my homies over before like a concert, and then my mom was cooking dinner, and he pulled me to the side, and they're like, yo, your mom's gonna season the food, right? I'm like, I was like, yo, but I thought that was a funny exchange. But like, I think sometimes we do call into question each other's blackness based on things that don't have anything to do with actually our experience here trying to navigate with this thing called America. You know,
he's not from America, so I mean, his black experience cannot mimic or be felt the same way that ours is.
I mean, so to speak. There is a difference between him growing up in you know, an all Jewish community and his mom being the, you know, the custodial parent. Right. There's just certain things, you know, even with my father working in corporate America and my mother being an educator, like we still had a very much a black experience.
Right.
You know, like there's still like, cause yeah, my dad was in corporate America, but the rest of my family wasn't.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there were just certain things that like just by osmosis and by, you know, being around, even though we were kind of in a way, my sister and I, like in a way insulated, because like we could go a whole week and the only other black people we would see were the people in our family. But at the same time, we understood what it was to be, to hear certain songs, to have certain experience, you know, to know what it is to get up on Easter Sunday and get fresh. And, you know, there's just certain things that just being black in America are going to be different than, you know, Drake honestly saying, and this is his experience, and nobody's discounting his experience of growing up in a Jewish community, having a bar mitzvah. That's not why, you know, we're calling these things into question. Right. You know, I never want anybody's experience growing up, especially when you didn't have a choice. Okay, that's just, you weren't I didn't choose to not grow up in the hood the same way Drake he didn't choose to grow up in an all Jewish community. Nah, that's just how it was. And this isn't a situation of colorism. No, that's the thing. This is what a lot of people are making it about. Is, well, you're teasing him because he's a light-skinned black man. It has nothing to do with it. And if you rewind and you go back, and if we want to be about Drake keeping it real with himself, honestly, he wouldn't be the artist that he is now. Because, I mean, if he's keeping it real with himself and he's true to those roots and things that he said influenced him, he's so far gone from that. No pun intended. Yeah. It just is what it is. Drake is who he is, and that's who he's going to be. And what Kendrick said is honestly 100% spot on. And I ain't taking nothing away from Drake's blackness or whatever you want to call it. But Kendrick hit a sore spot when he said that, and it's making Pusha T hit a sore spot.
He definitely did. He definitely did. But I think a lot of people are taking it on the chin for Drake. Let him fight for himself. Let him say something. Because if he felt this strongly about it, it wouldn't even have to be a diss record. It would be just him talking about his black experience, if it was one.
I don't think he's gonna.
I mean, this is the thing. You can grow up in a Jewish community the same way I grew up in the suburbs, and it's always going to think things that remind you that you're black.
Right.
Okay. So yes, the situation was different, but that, unless you have completely insulated yourself outside and you choose to ignore the times when people treat you differently, or the slights or the microaggressions that come against you because, your nose is a little bit wider, your lips are a little bit fuller, and your hair's a little bit nappier. Like, you just got to understand, it doesn't, those things don't insulate you from your blackness.
Nah.
So I don't ever want to say, talk about, who's blacker than who.
No.
But when we're talking about Drake and the things that Kendrick is talking about, we're talking about, hey, man, like, if you would just be yourself, we would have less of a problem.
You've benefited so much from doing this, bro. Like, you wouldn't be who you are had you not. I'm not, he's still a pop star or whatever, but when you talk about 100 and all these records, yes, like, that helped you become who you are by playing on that. So, hey.
Like I said, when you're yourself, when Drake is himself, that's when he's his best.
Facts.
That's when he's the artist. That's the artist who made you into a superstar. Like, you trying to stand next and be just like a little bit more yo and whatever, kind of like the cookie lady. Like, that's when we be like, all right, man, that's enough.
No.
Yeah.
What you think about Dr. Dyson, Lone? Did we pretty much cover it?
I think maybe Michael Eric Dyson didn't. Maybe he didn't have full context or something.
I think he missed what you talked about.
See, I can't believe that with it being Michael Eric Dyson, because this is somebody that studies hip hop.
But
writes whole books about.
He had to have heard all of these songs, and had the chance to break them all down.
But I don't. With that being said, with this being Michael Eric Dyson, I don't feel like this would be his take if he did. But I could be wrong.
He could be playing favorites. He could be more. Yeah, he could be playing favorites.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's too sharp. He's too sharp.
He
as
might
a
be
person,
part Canadian or something. I don't know.
Once again, you can be sharp and play favorites.
You can.
Yeah, or maybe he's just trying to particularly speak on that particular issue just to highlight that issue further, maybe.
Perhaps. And to your point, but also he's always been passionate about what he does. So I like that part about him. It just seems like he jumped out the window on this one and missed what was on the surface for what was actually going on. And I usually don't see him do that. So maybe he just, like you said, maybe some bias, or I don't know.
Perhaps. I could probably see Eric Dyson talking more about the bleach blonde, bad body, butch built, whatever.
Versus talk about a diss.
Yeah, that was serious.
Yeah, shouts to shouts to Jasmine Crockett.